everybody. It's Mike, an American in Luxembourg. Welcome to my podcast, where I will share with you all of my vast discoveries about Luxembourg, about the world, whatever. It's all good. Oh yeah, and McQuaide, I have a very special guest today. The reason I am in Luxembourg, my guest is Jen McQuaide, also known as my wife.
Hello.
Hello, how you doing, Jen?
Ganz gut.
Okay, and your name is Jen McQuaide. How do you spell that? Is there an E at the end or not? So today, Jen, we want to talk about the Luxembourg spoken test. Because you are what, 3 weeks away from it? Is that right?
It's about 3 weeks out.
Yeah, how you feeling?
Nervous.
What are you nervous about?
I think for me, learning Luxembourgish, I'm quite comfortable with the grammar aspects and I enjoy understanding things like the dative and how to construct a sentence. Okay. I just don't like to speak it because one has a much greater chance of making mistakes and it's just a challenge. A challenge.
So it's like, what is it, like the theoretical aspects of it that appeal to you or something?
Yeah. Like I like understanding the language. I like reading the language. But when you have to put yourself out there and know that you're not going to do it correctly and in a pressure situation.
That's a little daunting. Yeah. And the reality of Luxembourgish is a bit odd because you don't hear it that often.
Yeah, that is true. And even if you can find someone that is Luxembourgish, 10 times, out of 11, they're going to immediately switch to English when they hear you speak. So it's not like French. French, I think if you speak French to a French person, they will happily continue until they can no longer understand you and have to switch to English.
Okay, so now let's talk about the test. The test is end of this month. Is it, what's that, 3 weeks away for you?
Yeah.
Okay, what are you doing to prepare? And all right, let's go back. How long have you been studying for?
So I was trying to think about that. I started, I guess, in 2017. Like the beginning of 17. And I feel like the first thing I did was Liz Wenger's book. Mm-hmm. Like I went through it on my own.
Learn Luxembourgish.
Yeah, which I think for me, again, was great because it's pretty grammar heavy, which is maybe why some people don't like it. But for me, it was like a perfect introduction into understanding the language. And then I did like an online course with them in April.
Her Skype courses, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then I tried a conversation course, Skype course, and then I switched to face-to-face kind of classroom, I guess, style learning with Moyenne ASBL in the fall of 17.
Okay, so the fall of 17 right now is very early 2020. Yeah. Okay. And you started taking because you wanted to get citizenship, is that right?
I guess, yeah. I mean, I think part of it was the political situation in the U.S. With that election, but I also
2016 election.
Yeah, but I think part of it was, why you did it too, which was they had changed the citizenship requirements here. Right. So suddenly, we had been here for 4 years, and it seemed like, this is actually much more feasible for us to even try for citizenship than it had seemed in the past. Right. Yeah. So, I think it was like, well, why not try and learn? Right. And but we started doing, because you were further along in Luxembourgish than I was, right? When did you start?
14. I started in, is that right?
Wow. That's like right after we got here.
Well, I think we've been here a year. I started French in the fall of 2013, and that was ridiculous.
and you would never know that you've ever studied French.
Parlez-vous anglais? Yeah, okay. And so then But I enjoyed it. I liked being in a classroom with people from all over the frickin' world, which still blows my mind. And then I started Luxembourg like February of 2014, and I still tried keeping French. So there for a little bit, I was trying both French and Luxembourgish, and like, wow, I can suck in two new languages. But I realized, I mean, all my friends were Luxembourgish, and I wanted to go in that direction. But I had done it just for fun, just like, oh, this is kind of cool, with no real thoughts. Because at that time, you had to live here for 7 years to get citizenship. And we certainly weren't ever thinking about citizenship at that point. And I even stopped. I mean, I took classes for, I don't know, about a year and a half. And then I even stopped, I think, for a while. And then when they said, okay, you only have to live here 5 years, and the speaking requirement went from, I don't know, B1 to A2 or something. It was easier. I thought, I should try to finish this thing off and pass that test.
And do you think having German helped you?
I don't know. I mean, I suppose so. I mean, yeah, okay, definitely. Because like Franz, my Luxembourgish friend Franz, he's telling me the numbers, early on. I was like, they're the same freaking numbers as German, So I had some basis way in my mind. I mean, I took German 40 years ago, never ever thought about it, never ever used it, and Luxembourg is very similar, obviously. But you took German in college, right?
I tried, yeah.
You had taken French, and you were good in French.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, not compared to people here, but for an American, yeah, I felt like, I took 8 years of it or something like that, so.
Yeah, I mean, you save our asses every time we go to Paris, I mean,
it's enough to get by.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Luxembourgish for me is totally different.
Than French.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And English. So it's been a challenge, that's for sure.
So, okay, you're taking classes, and now you're 3 weeks out. How are you preparing for the test? And there are two tests. There is the Heyer Verstehen, so it's a listening comprehension test, and then there is the Sprochenanstrach or something like that, the speaking test.
So I finished my last Moyenne SPL class in December.
December 2019.
Yes, and then started this Luxembourgish with Anne online course, like a kind of self study called Succeed at the Sprochen test.
Nice.
So I worked my way through that, and part of the process is you write these little dialogues to kind of prepare. So
on specific topics.
Yeah, family, friends, your work. And so I just finished all of those, which I understand account for 1/3 of your points in the test.
Okay, so these are topics that you have to talk about. In the test, you're going to have to talk about these things. Okay, you're given a choice of...
I mean, you know better than I.
Yeah. You're given a choice of 2 or 3 topics, and you pick one.
It's 2.
2, okay. And then you talk about it.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of... How many topics did you go over?
16.
You'll be given the choice of 2 of those, and then you have to pick one.
And I guarantee you, for me, it's going to be like a coffin and stootmachen. Those are going to be my 2, which is shopping and like housework. Okay. The 2 that I'm least comfortable with.
Least comfortable because you're so passionate about them?
Exactly. I hate talking about them in English, let alone in Luxembourg.
Housework. You don't like to talk about housework. Okay. And shopping.
Yeah. Okay. And like doing your groceries.
That's what it is, grocery shopping. It's not like...
No, I think it's like all kinds of shopping, so you can talk about whatever online shopping if you want, but yeah.
Okay, but you're ready, you're prepared.
Yes, okay, so I did that, and now I'm practicing how to describe a picture, which is 2/3 of your points in the oral exam, and therefore more important. So the next 3 weeks will just... I'll be obviously reviewing my dialogues just to kind of keep comfortable in case, I don't know. And but really working on how to describe a picture, which is a lot of vocabulary, right?
Yeah.
And one thing I constantly do incorrectly, I don't know why, but conjugating the verbs, like I'm so focused on the first person singular, on ush, I do this, I do that. So every time I have to say like he does this or she is doing this, I always conjugate it with first person singular. So that's something I have to really pay attention to.
Well, it just means that you're trying. It just means that you're taking that person's point of view, and you're very empathetic. Yeah. Is that the word? Yeah.
Hopefully, they take that into account.
Yeah, she's very empathetic. She's an excellent empathetic Luxembourgish speaker.
Maybe I should just say I. Like I'm here. I am at the cafe, and you know.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So you have pictures that you are practicing describing.
Yeah, I have like 4, but I need to get some more. So maybe you can help me with that. Definitely. Find some more pictures to describe.
And you basically, what do you have to do?
So the way that Anne tells you is, let's see, you start by just kind of generally describing the scene, like it's a a city street, or it's a party, a birthday party, or whatever.
Party machen?
It's party machen.
Much pizza party.
Much Coca-Cola. And then I guess you just roughly kind of say who's in the picture, right? You try and describe kind of the, all of the components, any vocabulary, I guess, that you know. So, if it's a living room, you say, oh, there's a lamp on the left, or,
The on the left is very important. The on the right is very important. Yeah. It's the prepositions of place, right?
Yeah. And then describing, I guess, the people and kind of what they look like. So hair color, whatever. If
Farben.
a beard. If
Barb or Bart.
Bart.
Oh, my French was coming back to me there for a second. Excuse me, please.
I don't think that's French.
Barb?
Is it? Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, and then the clothes. What they're wearing, right? So if you can say that they're wearing a guillotine or something like fancy like that, work your adjectives in there.
Is that a yellow shirt?
Yeah.
Guillotine.
Right?
Maillot jaune. Okay, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. Or a carrière blouse.
Wow.
That was mine. Yeah. That was the one
That was your gold medal moment?
Yes, exactly. Okay, I have been where you have been. I have been where you have been. How much of a help have I been for you, Jen? 0?
No, a lot. A lot, yeah. I mean, it's super helpful to talk to people that have gone before you, and
to stand on the shoulders of giants, as it were,
or others, and
or just normal people.
Just no, but yeah, and I think you're inspiring to me because you're very good at just going out and trying whatever, just doing it, just make a fool of yourself, just try it, and so I just think be a jackass like Mike would be, and then I'm halfway there.
Be a jackass like Mike would be. Yeah. That's
my mantra.
Yeah. It's a good name for this segment. No, we do have pretty much opposite learning styles.
That's true. Yeah. Like I don't think for you the grammar is interesting or helpful at all.
No.
More just like how do you approach language?
I don't know. Just
head first.
I don't. Just try to get in it as much as I can and hope that some things are going to stick. Mm-hmm. That's really the only thing. I'm an older guy, and I tried learning all the grammar. It just does not.
It doesn't stick.
It doesn't stick, and it bores me, or to such a point that I have no energy for it. You know what I mean? Like I have a lot of Luxembourgish friends on Facebook and stuff, and I just love trying to read what they are saying. And I know it's not. I don't know. The spelling is all over the place, but to me, it's kind of a fun puzzle trying to figure out what they're saying. I don't care why it works or what. I don't know. I just. It's not a beautiful approach by any means, but it keeps me interested, and it got me across I passed the test.
I was going to say I think it's way more effective for this kind of a test But for me, it's like, I think everybody needs a way into a language,
yeah.
right? You have to find your way in. And for me, it's the rules. It's understanding why is it this way, and how is the sentence constructed, and when do you use, this word or this preposition. But I think 90% of that is totally irrelevant for the test. So I think your approach in this case is much, much more conducive to a good result.
It's fascinating. They're two totally different ways. I mean, it's sort of like the way I learned guitar, or just music. It's like, oh, what's that? I want to do that. I don't care why it works or whatever. And so I'm limited in the way I play, but I enjoy it, and it's fun and it's energizing for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think to me, it's like the difference of, do you start from the general and work inward to the specific, or opposite? Do you start like, I want to learn this song, this specific thing, and then work your way out to the general?
I go the second way.
Yeah, and I go the first.
Yeah. Very, very interesting. Because I do feel that with I immerse myself in Luxembourgish as much as I can still, even though I'm not taking classes or anything like that. And more of it makes sense. And when more and more of it makes sense, then I can possibly step back for a second and understand why.
Hang a little piece of grammar on it.
Yeah, exactly. Because I would try early on to write things in Luxembourgish, and very nice people would they correct me, and I was like, why? That doesn't make any sense. Why I do that? And it was basically like the adjective endings. Why is it sometimes Shane Geburtstag or She da 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 da? And now I can step back and I understand it. I still probably make the exact same mistakes, but I understand why I'm making those mistakes.
But we just had that discussion about the New Year. Right? A night yoer. And to me, it was clear, and I think for you as well, that, okay, the word nigh has a T on the end because...
Shaint night yoer.
Yeah, yoer is neutral, and therefore the adjective gets a T when it comes before the noun. And then suddenly, two people... who we know speak way better Luxembourgish.
Two teachers.
Than we do say something about am naya yoer. What the? What? How did that? Yeah. So then the dative comes in, and then apparently the adjective endings change with the dative, and it's tricky.
All I have to hear is that word dative, and I am just out. I'm asleep.
But that doesn't. I mean, do you appreciate people? Native speakers, let's say. I don't care about non-native speakers of English, but native speakers of English who don't know how to use the word whom.
What's that now?
Do you appreciate that? Do you think oh, good, that's fine? I find that irritating.
When people,
when you don't know how to use the word whom.
I don't think I know how to use the word whom.
To who did you give this book?
Yeah, right. I mean, I couldn't tell you a single rule. I just know what sounds good and what doesn't sound good. And that's the same thing with music. I don't know why this worked, but I know that sounds good, so you should probably do that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But it was kind of interesting talking about our two learning styles. We were doing those quizzes. They're like this RTL
Sprochenspiel or Spiel?
Jerome Luling's fun little tests.
Yeah, they're awesome.
They really are, and we made one good brain, but one good Luxembourgish brain between the two of us, because we had two different approaches.
That was synergy right there. Because on our own we were like nut zo, but together we were ganz gut.
Yes, we were Lennon and McCartney in the Beatles. We were not separate. Separate John Lennon is still good, but. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. Okay, so wrapping this all up, you are 3 weeks away. You have your topics, and you have pictures you're going to describe, and you're just going to keep going over it and over it again.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I'm trying, so my approach in life in general is head down and just do it, just push. And so I'm trying to consciously not be that way, to kind of try and enjoy the process as much as possible, as opposed to turning it into a giant chore for the next 3 weeks. Right. So that's my hope, is that I can enjoy as much of this as possible. And then see where I land at the end of this month. And then if it works, that's fantastic. And if it doesn't, then I'll just keep doing it.
And you'll take the test again.
Yeah. That's all you can do.
You're eventually going to get there.
Yeah, for sure. I think I can confidently say that in 2020 I will pass this test.
Good.
Let's just see when.
That's great to hear you say that. All right, Jen McQuaide. It's McQuaide.
Mike Macquarie.
Great talking to you. We will check back in a couple weeks.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Adi.
Adi, ciao. Can you get me a cup of coffee? Okay, that was my wife, the amazing Jen McQuaide, recorded in early 2020, about 3 weeks before her Luxembourgish broken test. So, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll do a follow-up episode in early February after her test, so be sure to check back for that. In the meantime, live, love, share happiness with each other. That's pretty much all we can do in this crazy, mixed-up world. Adi, ciao, tip-top.